What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be going over and ranking our top 10 wide receivers right now in college football Ultimate Team 25. Now, before we dive any further into that, if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys do smash that subscribe button. We're on the road towards 10,000 subscribers, and I really do appreciate all of your guys' recent support. So I feel like recently, the wide receiver position has gotten really strong. Obviously, Colin Lacey became available. A lot of people have him. A lot of the prices of some of these other cards have slowly came down. Some of them are pretty expensive, but some of them have slowly came down. And obviously, we know DeSean Jackson is coming in the Legends lock-in as well, which we'll eventually talk about here in the next couple of weeks. I have a video specifically on DeSean Jackson and how you guys can kind of prepare for that. DeSean Jackson will not be featured in this video because you can't have him yet. But again, when he comes out, he is going to be that man, going to be the best wide receiver, probably. I don't even really say probably. He's going to be the best wide receiver in the game. Now, we're going to start off here at number 10 with the 87 overall Amari Cooper. You guys might be like, what? The 87 Amari Cooper? Yes. Right now, 85,000 coins. So value-wise, really not super bad. He's got 87 speed, 87 acceleration, good catching, good route runner. Just overall, a really solid card. For 81,000 coins, you need to get this Amari Cooper card. And if you do want to get a cheaper card, obviously you can get the 86 Amari Cooper, go from there. I actually use this card instead of buying the expensive 500,000 coin Amari Cooper, just because he's 90% of what that other Amari Cooper is. 6'1", again, does a lot of those things at a really high level. And if you are in that middle of the pack, right, you don't have the most coins, you don't have the least coins, you're kind of in that middle, would pick up one of the budget Amari Coopers. I think the 87 overall Amari Cooper is your 10th best wide receiver right now in the entire game. At number 9, we're plugging in Jimmy Horn Jr. Now, he is, in my opinion, better than Amari Cooper. I'm not going to try to sit here and debate that, sit there and argue that. But there are differences with the card. Amari Cooper's a little bit taller. Jimmy Horn Jr. is going to be a little quicker with the speed, with the acceleration. Amari Cooper obviously might be slightly better as far as, the catch of traffic, some of those other stats. But I think overall, Jimmy Horn Jr. is going to have the slightly better stats. He's just going to be a little more undersized and a little more expensive. I've ran this card for quite some time though, and had a lot of success with him. I just think overall he does a lot of really positive things on the field for me. Again, good route runner, good speed. He gets open for me. The fact that he's 140,000 coins at this stage kind of feels like a steal to me. Is he, as good as I'm making him out to be? I don't necessarily know. It's part of the thing, again, it is preference-based, but I have him right now in my squad, and since the college kickoff set isn't coming out tomorrow, I feel no need to sell Jimmy Horn Jr. right now, my 9th best wide receiver in the game. At my number 8, we're plugging in the 88 overall Desmond Howard, a card that I've actually never used. And that doesn't even feel right saying that I have never used Desmond Howard, but I have never used Desmond Howard. And this card is insanely good. 88 speed, 88 acceleration. And early on, when none of the better wide receivers that have came out were out, it was you either should have Desmond Howard or Luther Burden if you wanted one of the best wide receivers in the entire game. And as I'm looking at Desmond Howard's stats, even all the way down to his spin move, juke move, it makes sense. This card is so elite at everything he really does. Again, not good as a blocker, but good spin, good juke, good carrying, good catching, good catching traffic, good route runner, all the way around. This card's an absolute beast. The only downside is the fact that he's 5'10", but I feel like the more I use wide receivers, the more I'm like, it matters, but it's not as valuable as getting open. Somebody's got to get open instead of just being super tall. So for me, Desmond Howard, I'm impressed. At number 8, are you worth 310,000 coins? That's the tough part. Because he's not. Like, when Jimmy Horn Jr. is as cheap as he is, when some of these other guys, like even the 87 Amari Cooper, are as cheap as they are, I cannot sit up here and tell you Desmond Howard is worth that amount of coins. The card's good, not worth that amount of coins. At my number 7, plugging in Luther Burden. Now, think of whatever I just said about Desmond Howard. Luther Burden is just a slightly better version of Desmond Howard. Slightly. Mostly like is that the release off the line? I do believe is that. But this card just does it. Great catching. He catches nearly everything you throw at him. 88 speed, 89 acceleration, good route runner. There's just no flaws in this Luther Burden. I actually have this card right now because you'll see all of the cards above him are quite a bit more expensive, which again just makes things pretty tough. But I do really like Luther Burden. I still got him to this day for right now. Probably in a week or so, I'll end up selling this Luther Burden. But for now, I still think he is in that top 7 range. Not a good run blocker, but you guys can even see his player traits are really, really solid. For me, Luther Burden comes in here at my number 7. At my number 6, we're plugging in Tavon Austin. Speed kills with this Tavon Austin card. Good juke move, good spin move, but he's got 90 speed and 90 acceleration. That's the moral of the story with Tavon Austin. Route running's fine, but he is so fast in this game. Problem is, he's only 5'9", or 5'8", and so, again, you got to just weigh different things, but Tavon Austin is an absolute beast in this game, and again, when you talk about guys that are tough to cover, Tavon Austin is at the top of the list. I struggle more guarding this guy in my past defense than nearly anybody else. He is Mr. Get Open. I still, to this day, do not have an answer on how to slow him down. You can't play man coverage versus him. Feels like in zone coverage, he's always open too. This card is so elite, coming in at my number 6. At my number 5, a card I just like slightly more at this stage, the 89 overall, Amari Cooper. And he's not an LTD, so Amari Cooper is going to be that slightly more inexpensive. But this card is fantastic. Good speed, good acceleration, good catch. To me, he reminds me a lot of Luther Burden. When you look up and down the card, it's what he reminds me of. A lot of like the Luther Burden type stats. Think about Amari Cooper is he's just a little bit taller. That's for me. I think he's a little bit faster as well compared to Luther Burden. And honestly, for 500,000 coins, the reason I'm not picking him up is I know on Sunday his price is going to go down even more. He's a non-LTD. You're going to see his price drop a lot more on Sunday when the Legends Once Upon a Time set does come out, does get released. So that's for me, my opinion on Amari Cooper. I think this card is an absolute beast. I'm just saying if you want this card, which I don't mind this card at all, but if you do want him, wait till Sunday. Sunday is going to be the prime day to pick up this Amari Cooper card, who is a beast in College Football Ultimate Team 25. At my number 4, guy that's kind of went way down in price, it's Herman Moore. And he is an LTD. His spin move, juke move is great. He is 6'4", and he's only 690,000 coins. And I say only because his price was basically 1 million coins a couple of days ago. I don't know what my complete thoughts are really on the wide receiver position. It just really scares me to spend a lot of your coins knowing Lacey, if you don't have Lacey yet, is going to be coming soon. Hopefully, if you're grinding that, which I would recommend doing so. And then knowing Deshaun Jackson, if you want him, that you can get him and sell basically all of those cards back like we did in Season 1 for Tim Tebow. It just scares me knowing the wide receiver position is going to just continue to evolve, continue to get better. That's why I don't really recommend spending 690,000 coins on this card, but I do think Herman Moore is a beast in this game and one of the kind of toughest guys that I've actually had to cover. Herman Moore, an absolute beast in this game. At my number 3, a guy that is definitely not worth his price is Tet. One of the best receivers in this entire game, and honestly, I love Tet as much as anybody else. When I use Tet, and again, this is just because I love Tet. I have him on my college fantasy team, so I'll be pro Tet forever. But he's 1 million coins, guys. Like if he wasn't 1 million coins, I'd be running this card because of how much I love Tet. But he's 6'5", good speed, good acceleration, good jump, makes every catch in the game. The problem is he is over 1 million coins, and I cannot sit up here in front of you guys and say he's worth that. But if you have Tet, or like let's say you have an unsellable version of this card, he is one of your best wide receivers in the entire game and will be for, again, I can't even say the foreseeable future, but he still will be one of the best outside of some of those top guys. At my number 2, we're plugging in Trey Harris, who is only 670,000 coins on Xbox. Now, maybe I shouldn't be this high on Trey Harris, but when I'm looking at the card, it's like, especially for his price, I don't mind it at all. 90 speed for this card. Good route runner. He's 6'2", pretty physical, has really good player traits. I don't get like the negative part of Trey Harris at all. He doesn't drop open passes. To me, personally, I think this card is really, really, really solid. Now, I get why some people might not be as high on Trey, especially compared to Tet. I get it. Maybe I should be higher on Tet. But again, part of that is I got bias in their prices. Like Trey Harris is basically 50% less than what Tet is. And again, as far as route runners, his deep route running is not great. Everything else is really good. His catching's at a 90. His speed's at a 90. This card's a beast in this game. And for 670, honestly, I don't think it's the worst price for Trey Harris. At my number 1, again, we're not going to talk about Deshaun Jackson. At my number 1 is Colin Lacey. This card is so good on this game. And you can say I'm overstating things, maybe, I guess, but I'm telling you right now, Lacey is a beast. From the spin move to the juke move, from the speed to the acceleration agility, to the jump, to the route running. Everything about this card is good outside of the carrying. Honestly, I'd be extremely careful making sure he doesn't fumble the ball. That's one thing that I'm a little bit concerned about when I'm looking at this card. But if you're playing a lot of college football Ultimate Team, and for whatever reason you're not getting this card, explain why. This card's a beast. This is a card that definitely I would pick up if I were you guys. Nobody's going to be able to cover him. Good speed, 92 acceleration is crazy. This card is literally one of the best cards in the game right now. And he's free if you do grind level 50. So definitely shout out to EA for this. I mean, look, giving us a card like this that you can grind for absolutely free is incredible, and definitely a card that you need to get. I'm telling y'all, as slot receiver, yes, that's where he is going to be, because this card is that man in college football Ultimate Team. For my future, guys, at the wide receiver position, I'd just be extremely careful with spending a bunch of your coins. Who knows what we're going to get tomorrow at the time I'm recording this? Who knows what we're going to get on Sunday? But I do know this. Deshaun Jackson's going to come out in a couple of weeks. We already got a lot of these top dogs. Maybe you have some of the BND versions of these cards, and you're going to continue to get them. Just be extremely careful. That's where I'm at with the wide receiver position and my top 10. Let me know your thoughts on my top 10 down below in the comments, guys. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.